So they are desperate. They brought all these attacking players in, a huge amount of money, but there's glaring holes in the middle of midfield where they need two players. Casemiro adds nothing.
Ruben, even though it's the first point of the season, it definitely feels 1 point gained, but 2 points dropped.
Yes, of course, especially no matter what the game in Manchester United, you have to win every game. I think we did well until our goal, and I think we were more as a team before the goal, and then we were just thinking about the result, because we want to win so bad that we were just thinking about let's hold on the advantage, and we forget about doing the simple things and to continue to play our game.
The performance in the first half was a very good one, and it's a game of such fine margins, because you see the penalty that was missed and then Cunha hit in the post, a goal goes in and the whole momentum changes.
Yeah, of course, but again, I think the momentum that changed the game was our goal. We need to do better in that moment. That is the moment to have more possession, to think to think better the game. But again, we want to win so bad that the lads just think about the result, and we need to think about the performance no matter what in this moment. But they gave everything. Sometimes we are not running in the right way, but we are running and we fight. So a point, and we need to continue.
Change of competition Thursday, League Cup, completely different opponent against Grimsby. Will you be same message, keep the same team, keep the same system?
No, the way we play, we are going to change because the opponent, we need to look at the opponent to understand what we need to do to win the game. We want to win. We know that in this kind of games in the cups, anything is possible. So we need to win. We want to win. We'll try to win on Wednesday.
A draw and a defeat for Ruben Amorim. How do you rate that start?
Not great. Not great. My expectation was, having seen what we saw at Old Trafford last weekend against Arsenal, they would come here and not steamroll Fulham. Fulham's a good team, but have their way a bit more than they did. And there were moments I thought that United played well in the game, but overall, there were moments that Fulham played really well too. And you just expect United to control this game, and it didn't happen. It got loose. It was a little bit off the cuff at times. And I'm so used to having watched them during preseason, opening weekend, that there is a game plan, that there is a way that Ruben Amorim wants to play. They lost that a little bit today, and so not worrying, but disappointed.
We saw progression last weekend, didn't we, from Manchester United? Did you see any of that today?
No. I thought they started the game okay, first 15, 20 minutes, but the second half was a realisation that two new players in the side is not going to change that much. So I'd be holding on against Fulham at this point with the money they've spent is disappointing for the United fans. And the fans are brilliant. Man United fans are brilliant. Yeah. They clap them off. But that's not good. Ruben Amorim didn't look happy walking off there. He expects his team, Rebecca, to control more of that second half, to be the team looking to win it. Yeah. And some of the moments, some of the little details that it's easy to look past, so we're not going to look by them in these highlights, shows the weakness in certain areas in the midfield, at right wing back, that cost them today. So they are desperate. They brought all these attacking players in, a huge amount of money, but there's glaring holes in the middle of midfield where they need two players. Casemiro adds nothing, and he's won more things than I could dream about winning, but he adds nothing to the midfield. Ugarte is meant to be a steel-like guy. He doesn't play Tim. Mainu can play a little bit. Kobbie Mainu, we don't see him. They need central midfield players, or play another guy in there to make three, because they are absent so often.
Let me just touch on that, Bex. So we heard Ruben Amorim talk about, and I think one or two of the players said in preseason, they're finishing their attacks too fast, right? And what that translates to is what he wants his team to do is what City do best, right? They get around the penalty area, they camp out.
Sustain attacks.
Right? But what that points to, and the best teams need two midfielders behind the ball that just take care of that, put out fires, that regain possession, that facilitate, that allow those front 4 or 5 players to camp out and get around the box. They don't have that, and so that's where it's missing. So, like, even though he's frustrated that he's not getting these attacks that are sustained and slowed down in and around the penalty area, he doesn't have the midfielders to do it, and he knows that.
Does he just need one new midfielder?
2.
And what kind? Talk us
Generals. What I'd say is a general. Not a fancy, clever player, but a player that can do a little bit of everything. Of course, in the past, United have had incredible ones. I had a manager, Brian Robson, played against Roy Keane. Players that could do everything. Could tackle, could pass, could score, could lead, could command, could Paul Ince was another one that would just rattle everybody. They need help in there. Instead of all those front players that you know.
Quite frankly, the top teams in this league have him. Tonali at Newcastle, right? Is McAllister, Rodri, McAllister at Liverpool, Gravenberch. You know, so I think of all the top teams.
Ugarte was meant to be that person.
He was, and Stephen Warnock correctly said that. He just doesn't have the. He's
not good enough
he's a bit tough, but he's not a good enough footballer to. But you look at the top teams. The person you're explaining, they have those. Those players exist, and United don't have them.
Just quickly, Rob, if they get those two players, where does Bruno fit in after that?
Well, we've got a little passage in a minute we're going to show where he is playing as a central midfield player and it shows his weaknesses. I don't know where Bruno's going to play. He's a 10. They've got 2 10s at least. Where's Mason Mount going to play? They've got all these 10s and no 6s and 8s. And by that, I mean central midfield generals to be the engine room.
OK, well, let's talk about Bruno. He is our Sensodyne player profile. Tim, talk us through what happened with the penalty.
Well, he puts the ball down and everyone has a routine and a couple steps and he gets nudged off actually by the referee and he's complaining. He has to then reset to take the penalty. It really put him off. Did he put him off enough to miss? Maybe, but it's a bad penalty in the end. And he just wasn't in the right frame of mind. We know Bruno. He's a fiery guy. He likes to complain, he likes to moan. But in that moment, I think it might have put him off.
And that was at the beginning of the second half when he was still talking to the referee clearly about it. And now this.
There were suggestions that there were improvements last week, despite the defeat by Arsenal. There were certainly signs that there were improvements this week in this performance at times against Fulham. Are there signs that things are moving in the right direction under Amorim?
I think so. There is the right communication. He's very honest. He says what he sees, and I like the kind of clear vision that he's got. He's got a clear vision. Yes, they are in a process, so things not going to be understood by everybody. There is mistakes going to be made and all that. So I like this process. He still have young players, especially the forward position. Last year it was a bit of difficulty to manage that because you have to teach them and at the same time you have to show confidence. Now I think we saw there is like links coming. You know, it's strength coming. There is a courage in taking certain type of position, but yes, they're still lacking that dominance in midfield. That's why I think Iwobi highlighted that. There is elements where the position of the striker is going to be very decisive. I think we need to play in a way where the two playmakers are a bit narrow. They can give a bit more, you know, creativity or whatever, but they need to really like be together in all the moment of the game. This is why I think he's unhappy. Sometimes they slow down the kind of like speed and get exposed because teams are fit as well. They are committed as well. And they need to really put them at a level where they're struggling physically or whatever. And that's not the case. So that's why he's not happy. That's why he's frustrated. And he thinks that they can do better. So yes, they score a goal, but that's not enough. Man United need to do more and to upset and to score a second goal and third goal. And this is the situation they are in. I think in a way, I like what he's trying to improve or try to address, and then nothing is coming.
It was quite.
Manchester United were held 1-1 by Fulham at Craven Cottage after a frustrating afternoon. Bruno Fernandes missed a crucial first-half penalty, wasting the chance to take control. United eventually led through a fortunate own goal when Leny Yoro's header deflected off Rodrigo Muniz, but their advantage lasted less than 2 minutes, as Fulham substitute Emile Smith Rowe equalised from Alex Iwobi's cross. United created chances, with Matheus Cunha hitting the post, but Bernd Leno stood firm in goal. Key substitutions disrupted United's rhythm, while Fulham grew stronger late on. The result ended United's winning streak at this ground, highlighting missed opportunities, lapses in concentration, and tactical questions for Ruben Amorim as his new-look side struggles to find cohesion.